Check, microphone check. You guys can all say you can hear me. See, I came crazy. Good. So when you're good at the strat, we break down things where we don't expect to lose any given day, maybe a given hour, but over the course of the day, we're going to win. But what I said to her was, I was like, look, there's times to make hay and there's times to do nothing, right? There's a time to do nothing. There's just a time to do nothing. I'm like, when I'm on the headset, I'm like, look, if I didn't have to be here, I wouldn't be here. But I'm going to find things for us. And if you're going to grind it out, we're going to grind it out. One of the important things about trading is that there's times when you really make hay, big moves, right? And that's going to be simultaneous breaks on the months and the year and the quarter on the futures, right? Those are the big moves. Like in February, then March, boom, and March back up, all that kind of stuff. When you go into these new highs, look, don't expect to make a bunch of money. Don't expect, it's not going to happen, right? And that's okay. You can still trade and do well, but you need to understand that when we knowing the strat is when all the things line up, all the stars line up, that's when you make bank, right? And if you're younger in the strat and you missed all this, don't worry about it. Because as long as you know this, it might take 10 years until we get these setups again. But we'll get them. We'll get them because it happens like almost every 10 years, right? So I see sup yo money. I want to make sure that anybody that is getting here texting or something that I'm not missing. So if anybody could text something in besides sup yo money, just so I know that it's still going. But this is very important. There's a time. Good, Jay. Thank you. You need to understand that there's going to be, just how we know that broadening formations work, that there's going to be a time when it's time to make hay. And you want to know how to do that, right? Because if you're new at trading, you're going to see that you make a little, give it all back, right? And that's when you don't understanding. Awesome. I'm sorry I didn't hit you up before, but thank you. This is very important stuff, so I'm glad that you're recording this. It's going to be recorded. This is going to be right here on Discord. But I can't stress this enough, is that if you're new to this, that what you're going to see is when you make a little, give it all back, is that you're building the broadening formation, right? So you're building a broadening formation, and then when it really works, you're already so chewed up that you're not going to make any money off it. You have to understand that broadening formations are price discovery. Broadening formation is how price action works. And so once you understand that, when I say that, look, I'm getting chewed up, I'm never going to trade this thing again. Look, that's exactly when you're going to trade it. Because that's when the real move goes. That's when the real move goes. And I see people that we're not seeing. I'm not showing any charts. I'm here live, just talking. We're going to have, a podcast is also going to be talking. But also, I mean, look at all the references that the Strat has. Go to the Facebook group. Go here. Go here. And one of the things that I'm proud of is that people come to me and like, Rob, I didn't even know you had a service. I'm like, I'm not a salesman, man. I'm like, but if you want to come to Ticker Talker, here's one of them. $200 a month and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, but I don't talk about it because I'm not a salesman. And what you're gonna see is people like Sarah, Jermaine, so many strategists are so good. They're like, look. Yes, if you need help, go to Rob. But he didn't say that. He says, just learn from the strat. There's so much out there on Discord, on Facebook, and that's all I care about, man. I care about you, and I care about this business, and it's a pile of crap. We know that. Oh, this could be a cup and handler thing. Wrong answer. The strat is the future of trading. And if you're listening to my voice, I believe that you know that. So I wanted to come on tonight just because there's so much more crap coming on. And knowing when it's go time. Right now it's not go time. It's like you're seeing exhaustion risk, you're seeing inside weeks, you're seeing inside, slight new highs, and then inside weeks. You need to understand that because a lot of people that you follow might only look at daily charts. Well, this could be a wedge and this could be a thing. No, you have to chart the yearly, the monthly, the quarterly, the monthly. Like, when are we really gonna have a really big move? That's where you capitalize, right? And we knew about that earlier this year. We knew about that. We knew about the 3-2 down in March. We knew about the 2-2 reversals in April with a quarterly change. We knew about that. But that's where you make the big money. So right now, man, if you're gonna do nothing, do nothing. Rope-a-dope, nothing. Because if we sell off, then we have the chance of an inside month for December to come into the new year. That's something you definitely want to know about. You always want to be forward thinking. If this, then that, right? And when is the big money to be made? And so there's still stocks to trade and move around. I mean, we know that. We're still going to trade every day, right? But most traders will come in and say, okay, some traders say, I just want to make a little bit. I just want to do this. But you come into the market to make a lot of money. Let's be clear. like there's no way that you want to come into the market and say, oh, can I just make $5? It's like, no, you want to come to the stock market to make millions, right? And be like, how can I do that? Like, you have to wait for the big setup. Setups happen, right? They happen. You just got to wait for them. And it happened earlier this year. And if you didn't take advantage of that, puke. Bam, dude. Millions. Really millions. And then if you look at your quarterly chart, then April, everything got bought. Everything got bought. And people were like, oh, COVID. I'm like, okay, who's that good for? Amazon. Bam! Screaming to the highs. I'm like, how do you not know that? It's like we had it on the strat basis, but are you an idiot? Are you an idiot? Like, oh no, COVID's gonna be the end of the world. I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to drive to. Okay, I'm not going anywhere, but all there is Amazon vans everywhere. They're like, okay. Well, maybe it's good for them. I'm like, you think? Boom. 2-2 reversal. Right? We knew about that. Right? We knew about that. We knew about Tesla. Right? So don't beat yourself up if you're new. It's basically what I'm talking to the new people. Right? The new people, you need to understand that there are different times in the market where you're going to make a lot more, or you have to take profits and say that, okay, here's what's going on, right? And that's important. When things happen, it matters. So when people say, like, oh, well, this works, and then boom, I get destroyed. I'm like, yeah, no, that it never worked. It never worked. It worked a little bit, but then never worked. But part of our business is understanding that there's times to make a lot of hay, and there's times to take what you get. Right now is the time to take what you get. Take what you get. We're not expecting any big moves are coming in the end of the year, and then we'll talk about what exactly will happen in the new year. Right now, you've got President Trump saying it's fake. He might not leave. We've got COVID. We've got all these kind of things, but it's not about the news. It's about the levels of where people are right or wrong. And so coming into the new year, what we know to be true, many of the broader averages are outside years 3. So it could get crazy. You have to get out of that and stay out. And if you don't, then we come in, we have the potential 3-1. And I don't want to break your heart, but what that means is if we sell off coming in the end of the year, you might have a 3-1 year until 2022. And that's true. Yep. Multi-year of chop. Exactly. That could happen. So then we're going to be specifically on certain stocks. But it's going to make it more difficult. Right? That's okay. At least we know that. The good thing about the strat is like, the bad thing is it's happening. The good thing is we know it's happening. And other guys won't know. Right? And so you will see on Twitter, this guy's posting daily charts, and that's it. Like, these guys have no idea if it's going inside week, inside month, nothing. Right? These guys, no clue. So, also I get this question a lot. I'm like, look at, whoa, Bitcoin, go. Look at that, 2-1-2 inside day up. Don't be afraid to do that. You know, I'm not a hodler, but these hodlers are starting to win. They're starting to win. I'm like, how do I get in this hodl? I'm like 2-1-2 inside day up. So I'm not a hodler because I'm old. I don't even like to use my card. I like cash. But it's working. It's working. And we like anything that's working. Right? Because we're straters. We'll be like, I don't care what it is. And like Bitcoin, could be GE, I don't care. If I got 2-1-2, I got a reversal of the upside, I'm taking it. Why? Because it's going to win. Then I can defend it. Right? And the good thing about crypto, and I've never said this before, but the good thing about crypto is it doesn't close. So the thing is, you have to go to sleep. But it can't gap. It's not possible. So for a lot of people, that's positive. It's like it can't gap. So a lot of people will be upset with the gaps and be like, oh, well, if I hold this good gap, I'm like, you can't. The only problem is that you can't sleep. You got to be awake for it. But that's happening, and that's true. You know, that's a thing. You know, hodl is working.
Hey, Rob, I'm here. This is Kevin. If you wanna.
Hey, Kevin.
I just caught that you were on, so I came down and turned on the recorder. So
awesome, man. I'm like, all right, cool. So Kevin spent some time with us at Ticker Soccer, and here's the thing: never feel like you're taking advantage of me. Kevin, what I tell people is like, dude, come spend a month, you know, and I'm like, dude, if you don't need it and you got it, well, just go, you know. Kevin's like, I don't sit there. And one of the things that people really like about me is like, if you watch any other videos of people talking about the market, they're like, click this link, come see us. You would not know that I have a service, right? Kevin can back me up on this. It's like, you wouldn't know because I don't sit there and be like, oh, follow Rob, do this. I don't do that. Right? I lay it down how it is. If you want to join us, well, that's fine. If you need me, I'm there. And that's where, you know, I get a lot of friends. We're like, Rob, man, you're just like not the salesman. I'm like, no, I'm not the salesman. I'm the helpsman. I'm the helpsman. Like, here's how it works. Here's what's going on. All my videos are, here's how it goes. Right? It's free. And like, oh, you're a scumbag. I'm like, I'm not a scumbag, man. I'm like, dude, you're listening to piss poor fools. And GR, we're gonna let's see this chat. So Kevin, if you're there, we're recording, so this goes into a certain area here?
Well, we haven't recorded any of these yet, but yeah, we've got some places we can put it.
Okay, so you had to be there. You had to be there. Rob showed up. You had to be there. So
exactly.
Cool, because I don't have to do this, But
nope, you don't. But you
if
do.
If I didn't love y'all and if I didn't want you to be successful, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, okay, well, go to my thing and pay me. Like, I don't do that. And people are like, no, there's like this whole little group. I'm like, Rob, I'm not. I'm like, I'm old. I'm like, what is this? And they're like, no, Discord. I'm like, I don't know what that is. They're like, no, but go there and there's people. And I'm like, okay, well, if we talk strat, well, I'll go there and I'll figure it out. Click this and go there. And I'm like, okay. And here I am. So I'd love to talk strat. I got nothing else. I really am like, you find a purpose in your life, and that's what you do. Not everybody has that. I'm like, all right, cool. If there's 1,000 people and will hear what I gotta say, I'm like, I'm gonna go there. And I always put my email out there, to hear people. I'm like, what's your deal, man? I'm like, I can help you. I just, some people have, $500,000, $1 million. Some people have $5,000. Some people have $500. I'm like, okay, well, I can help you. I just got to know what your deal is, And then I can turn you into the right people and all that kind of stuff. Because everybody's different. The strat will always customize itself to who you are. And say, look, man, it's like, I've got this amount of money. I've got this amount of time. I've got this amount of family. I've got this. And God bless you all. I worked my ass off. So whenever I get trolled, it really hurts me because when I hear these stories, I'm always trying to be like, all right, I've got to do the calculations of what's going on for each individual person. And it's thousands of people. I mean, if you had any idea what I go through, it's a labor of love, yet it's very difficult. So I'm always trying to turn people into different groups and say, okay, here's the people that are like you. Here's how I'm going to call out to the people like you during the day. Because everybody's different. Everybody's different. Everybody's account is different. And obviously, everybody wants to be rich. And I'm like, good Lord, I get that. I get that. I'm like, what? How are we going to do this structurally for each individual and their families? And that's where I will constantly put people together in groups if you're not familiar with what we do. So I want to make sure that I'm getting questions. I think I'm getting up here. Yeah, and if anybody has here in Rob's chat, if you have any questions, I'll answer them. But I always want to make sure that you have the resources to help you. And that's going to be the Facebook group. It's going to be this group right here. And where I'm at Ticker Talker, and I understand that's more expensive for most people, but that's where I'm all day. And the good thing is that I don't hold myself against. That's not a bad thing. That's a high level group, and that's okay. But also that are always going to be coming to a place like here. You're going to have people like Sarah. You're going to have people like Jermaine. You're going to have people like Dee Dee. All these stratters that are always going to try to help you out. And I got a question. For your newbies, do you ever make a call? Like say this stock right now, all day long. It's a matter of Are you going to take it? How are you going to manage it? But if you don't know, no. If you don't know why I would say that, then no, that is a no call.
Yeah, I can confirm that. In his service when I was there, he would actually call out a 2-2 reversal on the 30-year on AMD.
Constantly. Yeah, you can find Rob on Benzinga trips. I'm also on Benzinga. The Benzinga chat is coming along. You know, they love us, and the interviews that we have at Benzinga with Jermaine and Sarah and Dee, Andy Cole, myself are great. So I'm also chatting in there. I'm full time on the headset at Ticker Talker, but I'm also chatting over there. And there's some really good people over there too. So if you're on Benzinga Pro, there's a chat called the Strat there too. Because what I'm telling you, you can hear my voice, and I already know if you can hear my voice, you believe me. It's over. The Strat's taking over. There is nothing else. It's not even close, man. It's like there's not going to be. Well, there's going to be a cup and handle being scored. Wrong. You already know that because you're there. So, hey, Rob, if someone hypothetically had a copy of your TV course, would you want them to share it with other shadows or prefer it to never be leaked shared? No, hypothetically is that the problem that there is that we have copyright problems. So if anybody bootlegged that, we would not want that to be out because that's a problem with getting sued. And we would want people to see that, but we risk copyright suit. Strat Nation in the house. So do what you gotta do, but shut the fuck up. Yeah, we don't want any attorneys. The company shall not be. If you look at how big the Strat has got since the company shall not be named, and I'm not gonna blame them. There's some good people over there. But look at how far the Strat's going. It's after 9 years, right? So what I would say is share the information. Just you know.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Somebody just asked if I don't know, maybe this was before I came on and you already answered it. Do you have any person in mind who's really good at swing trading the Strat?
Swing trading, I did Dee Dee is excellent. So if you go to
Dee on Twitter, right? She posts a lot of stuff.
Yes, and so if you go to Dee and her Benzinga interview was one of the best interviews we've ever had. So Dee is like D3 Pepsi or something. If you can pull that up, Dee is excellent, and put her against anybody, like anybody, you know, because the Strat can be, you know, usually I say the Strat. And Jermaine's interview is excellent for building up small accounts. And Dee, they went nuts on Dee. They're like, whoa, dude. I'm like, I'm telling you, I've got badasses. Dee is a badass, man. And definitely go there to the Benzinga interviews. Definitely go watch them all. Sarah is magnitude. Jermaine, how I made nothing into something. Dee, watch this.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, that people tend to do a little of both. They tend to do some day trading, and they also swing trade depending on the market environment at the time. So
that's right.
I wouldn't say people are necessarily all swing or all day trade.
No, it's like because we say it's like, look, if the triangle is going to be much bigger, I'm like, have at it. Stay with it. Keep adding, or cut it, then add during the day. The important part is understanding that you're trading the Strat. That's it. It's like I'm trading the Strat, and the Strat says, as opposed to I think, like, do we care what you think? We don't. The strat says still good, right? And that's the important part of understanding the strat and trading the strat. We know. We don't think. Like, let's think. I think we don't care. Is it still good? Is it still good? And do I have, what's my risk on an ATR of holding overnight and then adding and then doing this? Where's it going route up there? Do we have a reversal against us? We do not. No. Where's going up there? Are you sure about that? Positive. Unless we have a reversal against us. And so for people new to the strat, sit your country ass down, man. We know how stocks act. There's no two ways about it. So it's not about making a ton of money. It's not about being right. It's about confidence in looking at things and saying, this is why I know this is going to work. This is why. Other people say, well, I think, we don't think. I'm like, here's, if it does this, this is what we know to be true, right? This is exactly what we know to be true. And that puts your confidence through the roof. That's what we can add to it. That's what we can put on the sides. Be like, look, we know this is true. Period. This is true.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Somebody's asking about the flip. I wonder if you could elaborate on that a little bit, just to give them a little context of why the flip is important.
So the flip is important because, hold on one second. How about this? You're right in my living room. So people are like, this is the cool kids. And like, I'm like, the what? Like, these guys are like, well, these guys got a camera right in my house, but these guys are cool kids. But okay, so the flip is important because you need to understand that algorithms are programmed to do four things. What vehicle we want? S&P, Qs, Apple. Then do we want to buy or sell? How do you want that to happen? Do you want to buy by taking the offer, sitting on the bid, sell by hitting the bid, or staying on the offer? And when do you want it to do it? And so these guys, it's so obvious. The flip. And that right at the bottom of the hour is the exact hour of the opening of the United States. So it's like, and it's the close of the European markets. So as soon as that happens, you're going to see these things turn on and turn off. Because most trading is automated. You'll see it plain as day. So like, are the computers still buying or are they still selling? Right? So you'll see it clear as day, like within a minute. Like, okay, what are these guys doing? Most people don't know that. We do.
Yeah, you can actually watch it, and you can see that, like, say at 10:30 in the morning, you'll see like the algos get turned off and the selling come in.
Exactly. So
It'll be grinding up, and then all of a sudden, right at 10:30, it'll just drop.
within a second, boom! It's like, oh, I'll go off, bam. So understanding that, and the more volatility you have, the more important it is to watch the 15-minute and the half hour. So we'll call the top of the hour the half flip. It's always a liquidity event. So what I mean by that is that you got the first hour, and then the European close is the bottom of the hour, and that's where we become the only casino in town. But you'll notice stuff right there. So you want to know that this is it's not always, but you want to know this is a potential liquidity event.
Yeah. So what some experienced stratters will do is, if they're already in a position around when the flip is going to happen, they'll actually get out of their position, wait till after the flip, and then look for a new setup.
Exactly, because we know that we can always get. It's like we always know that they're going to try you out, so we always know how to get back in. Could it be a 5-minute, 3-minute, 1 minute? But if it's still good, like I'm going to cover them the flip. But if I get my triangle down to the one blade, bam, I'm right back. Right? We're not always going to be that slick, because you can allow a flip to go against you if you have monthly, weekly, daily going your way. You're like, all right, 6 is going against us. I don't care, because all that's going to do is give me an opportunity to add. It's like, if this thing goes against me, oh boy, I'm just waiting like a shark for this to set up for a reversal back in my way, and bam, then I'm going to add to it. Is triangle out when the stock gets outside the broadening formation? No. What that means is we've had corrective activity. So I'm going to tell you right now, the 4 words that can make you most successful trading are triangle out, it. And so what that means is that we've had corrective activity against time frame continuity, and that you have a signal back into time frame continuity, full time frame continuity. That is what you want. Also coming back through previous range, because we know that people are taught to put their stops where they got in, or obvious pivots. And so what happens is, when algorithms start to go back through a previous range, these stops remove liquidity. So when that happens, the algorithms can't get the stock they want, and they rip it through. That's true. That happens. So I'm in the Benzinga chat, Benzinga Pro, and I love everybody. And boy, these guys wet behind the ears and trying to help. And at least you guys have some strat. These guys got nothing, right? When you look at traders that are new, that have nothing, man, dude, these guys got nothing. What they've been told is so wrong. It's ridiculous. And it's been great to have the people there to help us. We're gonna continue to work with Benzinga, but oh my God, these guys. I mean, I've been doing this 31 years, and I see the bad. I see the bad, and we're like, well, how about if we do this? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I'm going to tell you right now that trading, people that trade for a living, I would bet against everyone, 90% of you, everyone. You're not going to lose if you don't trade the strat, because we've seen that that's true. That's true. That's true, right? I would bet against every one of you. And that's why when people were coming to Strat, I'm like, all right, here's your only hope. If you're going to day trade for a living, this is your only hope. This is the truth. That's it. And they'll be like, well, there's people that make money that don't trade the Strat. I'm like, yeah, they have a lot more money than you. And they also spent there and said, what they did was sit there and say, okay, I'm going to do all the screen time, right? But you don't have that capital to sit there and do nothing for 5 years. To sit there and have and to underperform what we do. Underperform what we do.
So I haven't seen this question, but I'm wondering if you can have a couple words about this. People who might be afraid to pull the trigger in the current market where you can't really have all day runners as much as we used to have. How can people start small and pull the trigger when
I would watch Jermaine, what he said, and the thing is, hopefully you've got another job, all right, and you're trying to start this up. It will tell you this is not the environment. Kick back. Kick back. This is not the environment. So, depending on how much time you have, you can start to learn about the Greeks and the options. And I know that's a lot of work. What I would say is that I would watch Sergeant Germain, who has built his account up. One of my good friends, military, saying that, look, you have to be disciplined. You have to do, as long as you stick to your rules, here's what we do. And so with small accounts, I would say that. Hopefully we can post that, or you have that here.
Yeah, we have his video already in here.
Good. Because that's very important. He's done so many good things for people, and Sarah too. And for newer folks, I'll also tell you. I mean, Sarah a year ago was a basket case. She couldn't, and I worked with her. And look at her now. She's an educator. She's so good on magnitude. Follow people that are helping, because people like Sarah, Jermaine, and myself spend a lot more time educating and showing people, and then they have to pull back to their own trading. Be like, look, I got to win myself. But these are the people that really love you, that really want to show you how it works. And that what's great is that we have this Discord, that we have the Facebook, that we have people that are successful, that are trying to help you. Say, look, here's how I do it. And it's not always going to be how they do it, but it's like, look, trade the truth, tell us what you're doing, and you're going to have a bunch of people to critique and say, here's why you're losing, or here's how you can get better. That's very important, right? Because we are not sitting here away from you. So when people come to me and they're like, oh, I'm losing with the strat, I'm like, you're not telling us what you do. Tell us what you do. And I don't have to be there. Everyone will tell you what you're doing wrong, right? And even if they don't, then I'll walk in and be like, look, this is a 2 down. Look, why are you doing this? I'm like, well, somebody said this is good. Like, no. You trade the strat. You use the checklist, and you will be successful. Trust me on that. And is everybody ways of the checklist?
Yeah,
because we know.
Hang on, I'll post that in here. I have it somewhere else, but I'll put it in here.
If you don't do that, look, we already know what winning and losing trades look like. We already know that. You're breaking the rules, man. Because the last thing I want to hear is people lose it. And I'm like, look, well, Rob, I took an inside bar. I'm like, do I take every inside bar? I don't. You need to know magnitude, why you would take it, when it happens, right? And that's it, man. It's just it. Man. Tell me all these bad things. I'm like, it's always about helping. Always. But I've been doing this a long time. Oh, what treasures? Ooh, that's a trade list that. Hold on. That's not mine. Where's my trade list?
Oh, are you talking about the one where you know you're in a winning trade or a losing trade if that one?
Yes. A one loser, two directionally. So, yeah, but I like that. I do. But I want to make sure.
Let me. I know I have that one down. Hang on, I'll find it.
Okay. Because we know what losing. So here, if you're listening to my voice, that there's only so many things that can happen. Inside bar, that's a one. We're gonna trade that? No. The good thing about an inside bar is that it has to go two eventually. That's action. That's good. Then a two can continue, fail. It starts to fail and change the continuity. Now you got to put down to three. And the fact that threes exist, oh boy, that's where we make our money. You need to know that outside bars exist because if you fail one side and start coming through and continuity changes, now you've got your continuity. Now you've got your magnitude. Where's it going? Way down there. They're like, that's where you get your big moves. Because we know those exist. You'll see. You'll see.
So what do you do with the Benzinga guys? Do you direct him to the same resources and like these people that have had no experience with the strat at all?
No serious strat at all. What I would say is like, yeah, boy, look, we want you to know that everything else is lies. If you try and trade anything but the strat, we will bet everything against you. And we will look in your eyes and say, give us your money because we know we're going to take it from you. And the way I know that is that I've done everything from day one to study how price action works. And what I've seen is that 90% or more people lose money following technical analysis. And I was like, from day one, I was like, everything has an asterisk that has to do this, has to do this. No, bullshit. It's like, I'm going to say right now, if you try and follow classic technical analysis, you're done. You're done. And we'll bet everything against you. Please post what you're doing because we're going to take your money. What I'm saying is that the strat, we figured it out. It's impossible for the price action to trade outside of what we know. It's not possible. So once you understand that, then we can work towards how to execute it. But it's not possible to trade outside the strat. What's that? Pardon? So it's not possible. Do you understand that? It's not possible. So I try not to get rude. Sometimes I do. Look, listen to all these people. These guys have no idea what they're talking about. We do, right? And that's why you're here. It's not possible to trade outside the. You have to be 1, 2, 3, and you have to have continuity. That's it. So, for you programmers out there, you know how we know which direction the market's going? How many twos are in one direction with threes and continuity? That will tell you where the market's going. We don't have to look at it. I can scan it. I can tell you exactly where the market's going, right? Definitely. That has to be occurring. So thanks for the question. But we know this. So if you're listening to me, I'm not, chest bumper. I'm like this. I'm trying to show you that I figured it out, man. This is how it works. Oh, well, that could be a support level. This could be a look. No, dumbasses. These people have no fucking idea what's going on. This is how it works, right? And so when you see what we're seeing now, inside, how many ones are occurring, right? So when guys were like in the beginning of the year, and February, March down, everyth's a 2 down, right? You think this, and you think you're gonna buy this market? Everything's a 2 down. You're out of your mind. You're getting killed. This is no way. This is a simultaneous break on the monthly 2 down, 3 2 down. No way, right? The only way, right, that you can see this is that how many twos are in the same direction. And so what we're seeing this week, twos in the opposite direction, which tells us that SPY doing nothing, right? So SPY 312 up, no, it bought it, yeah. So moving, so yes, bought until it went to the highs. Then it exposed itself. That was it. Then we don't know. But yes, we expected that to happen. Once it happened, it did it. Then we don't know. Then we're exhaustion rich.
The thing about the SPY is it always likes to trade in nice, clean, broadening formations. Not everything usually does. Everything does trade in broadening formations, but not as nicely as the SPY does.
It's beautiful. And it's like, and that's why you don't have people just sniping the options all day. You're like, we know what the tries look like, and be like, bam. And so that's why the great thing about SPY is that you have options on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So what we'll do is we'll look at those triangles on on those intradays and be like, I'm not going to buy the SPY and put up $300,000. What I'm going to do is always hit these options and go bam. And IWM new highs thanks to the energy sector. So now you're in exhausting risk, but it did what it was supposed to do. And financials, yeah, they're up and down. So always want to think in terms of the strat. Always think in terms of the strat, not what we think, what we know to be true. Triangles, broadening formations. So what you need to understand is that there's 3 things that can happen from one bar to the next. Right? If everyone wants to post this in, there's 3 things. You can either not take out the previous high or low. That's an inside bar. That's a scenario. You can take out the high or the low. That's scenario 2. 3 is the most important thing you can understand. Is that outside bars exist, that we can take out the highs and the lows in the same bar. That's the most important thing you can understand about trading, because that's how we're going to teach you about magnitude, right? So because outside bars exist, if there's an attempt to take out one side and then continuity changes, boom, unless we have a reversal against us, we're going all the way to the other side. So Hector Gasmo, so welcome. That's true. Do we have a top stocks list? No. We don't trade stocks, we trade setups. And I want to be very clear about that. Be like, okay, we think this, but what we do is that we look at how many 2s we have in every direction, how many 3s we have in every direction, how many 1s. So we get a lot of 1s where we know every day this week we're going back and forth and be like, okay, this is up, they're not swinging. No, you're not swinging. No.
I think they might have been asking that just in the sense that this week and last week the energy names have been reversing. So you could look at all the different names in the energy sector and say, all right, well, these are all probably going to be looking very similar.
Correct, and I've been very clear about that. I'm like, and then we had a sell off at the end of the day. And I'm like, okay, all right, we need that to reconfirm to the upside. But yes, the energy sector for sure was the upside this month. And then we saw a sell-off at the end of the day. I'm like, okay, well, then we need that to reconfirm. We have 2 twos to the upside. What do we have? And although that it's been cleared that's upside, I've also been clear that this is not a swing environment. But
right. Or also, like if you're like Sarah even mentioned this in her video, if you're trading a tech stock, you want to have the Qs up at the same time because they tend to go in lockstep.
That's right. Yes. Yes. And without question. So,
or I think you even said in one of your videos, if you're looking at the diamonds, the Dow diamonds, that there's only 30 stocks in that.
Correct. Right. It was like, and so you saw Boeing gap up and then start to come in. And so when we know that there's things going on in the energies, you're like, okay, there's 30 stocks. I'm like, if this thing's really going up, who's driving it? Or if it's going down, who's driving that? And then use the strat signals to get your ass in. You know, the thing about the strat, and obviously we're here, so you all understand at least part of the strat, is that knowing how to get in. How do I get myself involved? Because I'm in Benzinga, and so many people are there. It's like bag holders. They're like, "Oh, it looks good. I'm just gonna get in." I'm like, "No, you don't just get in, man. Like, no, you trade a reversal, protect your gain, and then if it keeps going, good for you, right?" Yeah, I think it's strategy. You guys understand that. We're still explaining that to people. You don't just get in there.
Yeah, like if a stock's going to new highs, that doesn't mean just get in. Wait for it to reverse and then
well, I don't care if it's a 5 minute. It's 5 minute 2-1-2. Just have a reversal, a correction to get in, and then create that winning position. And if it stops you out, it stops you out. But if it doesn't, that's how you got in. But they're always
even if something's grinding up, you can wait for a micro try on the 3-minute candles.
Exactly, it's gonna happen. It's like it's gonna happen. And you know, not everybody's programmed for that. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, wait for the monthly reversals, the weeklies, and I can't stress this enough. I mean, one of the things I came on tonight was look, there's going to be major reversals, right? This is not right. This is not now. This is when you make hay. Right now, you're going to new highs. That's great. Spies inside and out. Big deal. Now, if you come into the new year with an inside month on December, takes down, right? That takes down the outside year, right? I always want to be forward thinking. If you can do that, well, then we'll talk about puking, right? But if you look at the monthly spy, and I've talked about this a million times, I'm like, look, October 2 years ago, bam, bam. Then the inside month, and then bam, and then back up. You want to know that you have a macro thing working for you. Right? Right now, you don't have that, right? And so if you're going to take size down, it's not the place to take size. But when the things really hit the fan, we know, right? Now, I don't know how long everybody's been with me, but we know. We don't think like, oh, that could be a support. Oh, and this is shut the fuck up, man. It's like, dude, when you have a simultaneous break in the futures, that's go time. That is go time. Because what's going to happen when that happens, when all the major futures are puking or rallying at the same time, is that all the natural buyers and sellers are going to wipe out. They're going to get out of the way. And all the charts are going to look the same. Trust me, I don't know how long you've been trading this business, but that's what happens. And at that point, then once it mellows out, then you're going to see natural buyers and sellers, which makes it easy because they get more aggressive too. So if you're new to this, it would be ludicrous to think that you were new to this. But if you're new to this, yeah, right. What I'm telling you is that when it really happens, it really happens. And the thing is, we know what it looks like when it happens. What I'm telling you is your exhaustive moves into new highs. You've got holidays. It's horrible. Don't take big positions right now, right? What we're going to see is what things look like coming to the end of the year, right? And then we'll talk. And I mean, you seriously, you got some nutty stuff going on. I'm the new president. Oh no, I'm still the president. Yeah, look, man, I'm not going to go down that road, but you need to understand there are setups that go across the board. There are setups in individual stocks, right? And you need to understand the difference, right? Are people taking profit at the end of the year like the end of the day? We don't know yet. We're coming in the end of the year. We're going to find out. Here's the thing. What is the setup coming into the new year? Find the 15 minutes. Log in with students, yeah. As long as you know that 15 minutes is a 15-minute, man. So what's very important to understand is like always looking forward. If this works, what will that create? What I mean by that is that if I take this 15 down, inside 15 down, and it doesn't work, am I going to take this red strat back up? And depending on the continuity, take both of them and be like, okay, this doesn't work, but once it comes back in, I'll cut it. Not always good with that, right? And so,
what were you saying? Randy's favorite setup is a failed rev strat.
It is Randy Jackson. Whoop, whoop. Randy Jackson, what he'll do is like he'll wait for a failed rev strat, so it'll be like hammer or shooter counters the inside, and then counters that. And yeah, his name just happened to be Randy Jackson. he's like, enough people haven't been fucked for me. He's like, I'm right here, and he's right. You know, he's right. He's like, it's a thing. I'm like, definitely a thing. He's like,
oh, he's here. Hey, man.
That's how I know the triangle's bigger. He's like, these guys got screwed. So I want the triangle to be bigger. And there, Randy Jackson in the house.
He is. I see him.
And so he's like, look, because a lot of people have problems with like, how do we know the triangle's bigger? He's like, okay, they screwed them. Nah, boom. Now hammer counters, shooter counters, rev strat. Now where's it going? Up there. Up there.
Yeah, if you guys aren't following Randy, you need to on Twitter. He posts some good stuff.
He was one of my, he's an old school OG. And boy, when I get the tools, I'm like, look, I train his ass. I'm like, and he's gonna train your ass. And it was like, well, Rob, don't you have a service and people need to pay you? I'm like, sit your country ass down. I'm like, look, I've got a guy that I trained that's telling you that here's what you want to wait for. And when I get trolls and be like, "Oh, Rob's just a service and all this," I'm like, "No, I'm really not. I mean, I am, but I'm not." I'm like, look at these people that will help you And, I'm always in the trenches, because a lot of people are naturals. They just get it, man. They just get it. And I'm like, all right. So what I'm left with is people with the desperation of, oh, yeah. Like, all right, I'll be there. And that's okay. I mean, I get that, that's my job. But when people call me out, I'm like, look, here's the naturals. Here's the people that get it. But they just get it. I'm really good at it. And yeah, I'm always going to be there trying to help the people that are having problems. I'm the Bull Durham of the track. I'm like, all right, I'm going to train these guys. I'm like, look, all right, here's the people that need some help. I'm like, do this. And there's people that just get it, man. They just get it. And that's okay. That's my lot in life. I pray to the Lord. I'm like, Lord, can I help more people? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what about me? He's like, don't worry about you. I got you. But you'll see the people that post the strat. You'll see the people are so good at this that they want to help too. They do. It's amazing, really.
I think once you find a couple setups that you're comfortable with and you find works for you, it's pretty much after that the light comes on and everything seems to click for you.
Exactly, and that's why I tell people like you don't have to be the master of all the strat. Like, dude, if you're a 2-2-60, bam, that's all you do. 2-2-60 back in a full time for gun, that's all you do. And because once you do that, then you can branch out forever. Jimmy Strat, that's all he does. He's like, I'm 2-2-60. I'm like, what? I'm like, because it works. Because it works. And that, I mean, if you want to be Strat Ninja and be like, all right, 2-2-5 and all this kind of stuff, but you don't have to be that guy. All you gotta do is say 2-2-60 reversal back in the time frame. That's my guy. That's all I do. That's all I do. And you're totally successful doing that. Then you can be the master. You're like, okay, ninja this. I'm gonna do 2-2-5ers. I'm gonna do this. But the key is are you successful doing what we do? And if you're not, do that, right? And then if you're not, then come to me. Yell at me. I mean, if you're not successful, yell at me. Because I've got people all the time who are like, Rob, it's not working. I'm like, you're not doing what I tell you to tell you. do this, and you will be successful.
So when people come to you with issues, what is the biggest problem that you see that they have?
They're ignoring either time frame continuity, magnitude on the triangles.
So they're getting in at when there's exhaustion risk, for example.
Totally, and be like, "Oh, it looks good," and I bought, and they're trading directionally. So we know that directionally is going to be a up 2, 1, 2, and I'm like, but the directional magnitude is only up there. They're not trading reversals. You have to have at least one reversal, right? It's got to be I don't care if it's a 5-minute down, then inside back up, but you got to have the reversal because that's how you know you have the triangle without drawing it. You feel, how do I draw the triangle? How do I draw the triangle? I'm like, you don't have to draw the triangle. You need to know that you're trading reversal, therefore you have a triangle.
So just to give people an example, if you think you're trading reversals and you missed the signal for, say, the 15-minute signal, and you say, oh, it's running, I'm going to wait for a corrective activity and get in. Guess what? You're not trading a reversal now. You're trading directionally.
Correct, unless you have a 2 down on the 5 and then 5 minute and then back up, which would be fine. So, oh boy, I hate to say this. I'm like, one of the things I love about a lot of people that I talk to is like, you have a service? I'm like, yeah, we can come see me at Tigger Talker, $200 a month. I'm like, had I known that, I'd come there. I'm like, okay, but my protege that I love so much, she was like, Rob, I came to you because I listened to your videos, and every other video was like that I listened to was like, click the link, like us, do this, follow us. Like, you don't do that. I'm like, no. I'm like, sales is not my job. Kicking ass is my job. Other people's, I'm here, I'm at Tiger Talker. I'm like, look, it's your job to sell me or sell to help people. My job is to kick ass. And that's what I do. And so blessed to have, a young lady like that I'm helping, and all of you. Like, I don't have to be here. This is free. like, what's not doing here? I'm like, look, we're changing the industry. I want to be very clear about that. We're changing the industry. Eventually, everybody's going to trade strat. Everything's going to be going strat way. It has to. Because it doesn't make any sense if it doesn't. It's like, oh, it's a cup and handle. Look, 90% or more of people who have tried to trade is lost. We've turned that around. There's no two ways about it. The strat is the only way. And in Benzinga, I've got a lot of new people, and I was like, look, if you don't listen to us and you don't trade the strat, you're doomed. And I'm very clear about it. You're doomed. Like, I would bet everything I've got against you, because 90 to 95% people try and trade without the strat. Oh, you're done. Done. So
I think I might have a question that maybe you have some insight into. So as traders, people need to be okay with being wrong. You need to recognize that you're wrong and get out immediately if you are. Just cut it fast. So if people have a problem cutting it, how do they get over the people, they don't like being wrong, so they tend to hold on to it? How do you get over that?
It's not about being right or wrong. It's about risk management. It's like, as soon as you're losing money, you're wrong. Get up. And I'll put a gun to your head right away. Like, you have to understand this. Like, this game is not about being right or wrong. It's about, are we making money or not? And people that don't,
so it's not about how you feel about it. It's not about what you think about it. It's, are you winning or are you losing? If you're losing, cut it.
I could put a trader that doesn't know jack and say, look, manage your risk. And as soon as something goes out against them, get out. As soon as it goes their way, stay in. And then get another signal at. Regardless whether they knew the strat, nothing. But the best traders are those who knows how to manage their risk. And so if you sit there and you take something against you, I'm going to bet you're going to keep doing that, and we're going to wipe you out. You're done. Bye. Good night. Nice to know you. I'll be right back. I'm gonna freshen my cocktail because I don't want to leave you. You guys,
Okay.
You guys all good? You guys want to keep going? Because if you want to keep going,
I think we're good for the moment. I'm gonna stop this one and start a new one.
Okay.
So hopefully my random questions are helpful. All right. So don't know why this desktop audio is giving me issues.
Organization.
Check, microphone check. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Well, this is gonna be good. Some friends are teaching chunk. So what I'm saying, if you don't trade the strat, my mama talking to me, trying to tell me how to live. If you don't trade the strat, your head is like a sieve. Straight up. I know that most of you guys know this, but man, when we go out there and we go out these people that don't trade the strat, no clue. Okay, so do we have questions? I think we're gonna do Q&A, right?
There's questions about where to place your stops. Seems like a lot of questions about that.
Okay, tight stop. So what I teach is the 1 cent stop. Why? Because if you don't know, then I'm not gonna let you get killed. So if you take the offer, 1 cent stop below the bid where you bought it. If you hit the bid, 1 cent stop above the offer when you do it. And the reason I want to teach that is because I want to make sure that you know. First of all, you're not going to get killed. Second of all, I need to make sure that you are understanding what we're doing, right? So you can loosen that up as you realize that you're using continuity, you're using all these things. But I'm going to teach that 1 center until I know that. And so you can come to me and say, I'm getting stopped out a lot. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Because then we can evaluate what you're doing. Tight stop, because it's, yeah, I know everybody's not in the United States, but if you are, the strat is like trading the home run derby in All-Star game for the baseball. So it's like we can have foul balls, but when you get a hold of one, boom, bam, we're gonna bet on that, boom, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. So we once we have big hits, we can add to it. Go, 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 go.
So there's a question about if you get stopped out and you get back in. I think the answer to this, stop me if I'm wrong, but I think the answer is
we call that doing battle. I'm like,
Yep.
because we know there's going to be Browning tight stops. We know that's going to happen. But re-breaks, go ahead. Definitely, because what that means is we've had unidentified participant, but we're gonna take care of them. Get back in, and especially now where if you're new, we used to have a thing called commissions. We're not gonna have to charge you every trade. If you don't have that, now we can really have at it. It's like, boom, there's a level. If it breaks back down, get out. If it breaks back in, get in. And know your magnitude, right? Sarah can help you with that. I'll help you with that. But Definitely. I mean, no, that means you have no commissions. Have at it, man. We're gonna do battle, man. We have every
no, Jurowski, you don't have to wait for another reversal. Say you took a 2-2 reversal on the 15er back up into a previous range, and then you get stopped out. It's going to re-break that at some point, and you get right back in at the same spot.
Exactly. Do battle. I mean, the thing about our business is like there's two things that are your worst enemy: boredom and stop outs. And saying, all right, well, we got to do some work here, man. I'm like we're not saying they're handing out the money, although there's times when there are, but you have to work and say that a lot of traders will say that, oh, I took this trade and it didn't work. I'm going to move on to something else. Where we say that if we have every reason to believe this is going to work, I'm going to do battle and keep looking for setups because I understand this should work. You know, so a lot of people say, oh, my one setup didn't work. I'm going to go on and move something. I'm like, no. One setup, get out, and like, boom. I'm like, next setup, now we got it. Now we got it. Boom. Here we go. And then we can add to it, you know. So always be aware that if your setup doesn't work, it doesn't mean your setup's not working. If you have any idea what a setup looks like, right? It's just like, oh no, well, it didn't work. We're gonna do battle. We're gonna do war because we know that in the end we win. Like when we get stopped out, there's a participation group that we don't know, but once we burn them through, boom, we're going house. Okay, I'm seeing some charts. Let me see. Okay.
All right. So your entry would be 1 cent above the previous high on the reversal. And then if it goes below that while you're in it, you just get out. And then when it breaks it again, you get back in. That's it.
That's right. And then when we're right, boom, off to the races. Off to the races. So what I'm seeing is some SPY charts. Is that you putting on them in?
Looks like he did.
Okay. Yeah. So when we're right, we're real right. And it's like, where's it going? Up there. Boom. Right. And well, you know, I'm here. So you know, maybe there's some new folks, but you know, we're stratters. So we know that like boom, when we're right, we're real right. Boom. Where's it going? Out of the park. Gone. Is it good? Still good. Because I speak to a lot of groups, but here's you know, us. So you know, and hopefully, you know, a lot of people are here helping you too and saying, look, man, it's like when we get a hold of one, boom, let it go. Bam, that thing's gone. And so if I'm trading options, spread is on the same concept, yes. Def. And so with the options, it's always a matter of when things occur, right? And magnitude. You know, how far this thing's going to go. So options are a different animal, a little bit of animal. We know that. And what we'll probably do coming through in the new year is have, like Dave is great, and like subgroups where people can talk about the options because knowing the Greeks is an important thing. About the options, that's not my expertise. My expertise is like, where's it going up there? But we have, like Dave is great. And what we want to do is always have groups of people that are doing the same things or looking at the same things. And Dave's great. Dave's great. Like, I was very clear coming in November. And I said, look, if you trade options, what you're going to do is you're going to look for gamma spikes and sell them. It's like, we knew this was going to be horrible. I was like, gamma spikes to sell, theta burn. I was very clear about that. Let me go back to my Twitter. Like, this is what's going to happen. this is what's going to happen. So if you think you're going to directionally trade these things, you're out of your mind. What you can do is you can gamma spike, theta burn. Right? And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Bam. Puke. Gamma spikes, why it happens? Actionable signals with continuity. So what happens is that you have these things where it appears things are going to move, but we know still inside doing nothing. So it appears like there's a big move. We know it's still inside one on longer term time frames. So the gamma spike will happen. Then bam, boom, top of the tribe, bam, slam that dead. Right? And for newer folks, that's a little more advanced, but we knew that was going to happen. we knew that was going to happen. Don't do it. All right? If that makes sense. Yeah, right. We knew that was going to happen. How do you know that? I'm like, because I'm smarter than you. Trust me on that one. Okay. So here's the thing. So what we want to do is we want to look at this global crap that's coming up there. Right. So what's going to happen here is that we're going to have a tough time having a macro sign for a long time. And what I mean by that is that we have outside years in S&P and all that kind of stuff. This is a problem for us because we like to trade and have big moves. But this is a problem. This is going to be an outside year. That can't change. Then we're going to have whatever God gives us the next year and come January. This is a problem for our volatility and things that are moving. So most likely what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trading stocks that are moving for the next 2 years. And that's the truth, man. Like I wish I had better news for you, where we had these big moves, macro moves, as far as SPY and everything. That's gonna be a tough thing to have.
So you're saying this year was there was a huge range in this year between the drop that happened in March and what's happened since. So this year's going to be a big three.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough time. It's like either we grind into highs by going a 3-2 year, or we drop back in for a 3-1 year, which means nothing until the final next year. And even at that we would have to have a big move to take out either side of this year. So as far as trading is concerned, the futures, I'm not looking forward to a good situation to trade the futures. Now the stocks will always move, but how you always want to, when you look at something like people look over the weekend or whatever, I'm like, now we're looking at the year. You also look at 3 scenarios. There's 3 types of things that can happen. What do we do if the market tanks? What do we do if the market does nothing? And what do we do if the market goes up? So as we're coming into the new year, if the market starts going down, we'll have an inside year. It'd be tough to take out this year's lows, right? Which means choppy trading. If we go up, Well, then it's a 3-2. Then that's an expansion year, and that's good, but probably grindy. So it's what does all this go about? So it looks like for a long time it's going to be watching individual stocks and sectors, definitely. Because so anybody tells you about the futures, now they're wrong. And like that's probably not the right place you want to be, unless you're a sniper and you can get the triangles and all that. That's okay, but the bigger moves are going to be the winners and losers of what's happening in the world right now. Because there's no way. I mean, put it this way: there's no way that Boeing is going to be not be an inside year for years, or the airlines, or the cruise ships. There's almost no way. No way. So those guys are going to be jammed, and they'll have their moves, percentage moves. But there's no way they're going to take out this year's highs. There's no way. So all that stuff's going to be jammed. And so what we're going to look at is anybody that can take out last year's highs, last year's lows, and always talk about that. Like, what's going to be like? Where do we want to be? And people will always be like, well, here's because of the pandemic. Like, well, look, we only want to know where things are taking a highs or taking lows. That's it. It's like, and we pray for all these horrible things. But as far as trading, we want to be in things taking out last year's highs, last year's month's highs, last year's lows. That's what we want to be.
Yeah, sup your money. I think he means like if you're used to trading the futures, next year might not be a good time to be doing that. You want to be focused on individual stocks because those are probably going to be the ones that are going to take out this year's highs or lows.
I feel that all the time, And it's like, like, I'll trade the futures. I'm like, if you're trading the futures, what are you doing to identify why you're trading the futures? And I'll tell you right now, right? If you're stone cold just looking at the futures chart, you're a fucking idiot. Ooh, he swore. What I'm saying is that look, what stocks are in the futures? Look at the stocks that are in there, and then tell me why that would work. So what I'm saying is that the futures will trade in the direction of the most twos or three reversal, two reversals going three. That's it. We know that, right? So if you're sitting there trading the futures that are inside on the week, inside on the day, you're insane. And you have no idea what you're talking about. ROB-UNPLUGGED. You have no idea. If you were trading the futures in the last week, you're out of your mind. You don't know what you're talking about because you're trading something that's inside. What we don't do is trade a one. Am I clear about that? If you trade a one, expect to get chopped up, right? Which you have. Unless you waited till today to the end where you got the inside 60 to send it off to the day. Downside, right? But that's not where you want to be, right? Did I be clear about that? I'm sorry, was I a little soft about that? Because I want to be clear about that. You trade a one, expect to die. Expect to die.
Yeah, just avoid inside months, inside days, inside weeks, inside 60s.
You gotta be aware of it. And today we got that 212 inside 60 down at the end of the day. I'm like, all right, that's a major signal. You can take that. That's right. But
I think a good way to think about that is you may have an inside day, but there's still magnitude, there's still reversals that occur. So just be aware you're inside.
Yeah, but you can take like today, we take that. It was the end of the day when it went inside Momo shooter, inside 60 down on spot. I'm like, you can take that. I'm like, all you gotta do is stop yourself out with 1 cent. if it goes back up. But if it doesn't, you have to measure your move. Inside, boom, down, bam.
I mean, you might not be getting a lot of all-day runners, but you can still get things that are moving.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like, think about this business. And I'm like, do battle. I'm like, dude, we're not giving money away at her. Just so you know, we're not giving money away at her. What we're doing is like, doing high probability. Like, if you get stopped out, well, so be it. But if you have every reason to believe it's still going to work, get back in. I'm like, oh, it didn't work, and I need my guru to do a thing. Ah, fuck. Like, straight up, man. I'm like, this business is not giving away money. Do battle. It's like, if we have every reason to believe something's going to work and you get stopped out and then you get another signal, get back in. That's it. It's like, now it's working. Now it's working. Like, oh, now I'm gonna trim and trail. I'm like, trim and trail? No, pour it on, man. Hit him with more. Hit him with more. Trim and trail. I'm like, no, I'm right. Now I want to back out. I'm like, no, I'm right. Boom. Hit him with more. That's how you make money. That's how you make big money. Is that once you're right, you pour it on. Like, okay, now I've created a winning position. Now I've got more setups. I'm gonna pour it on. Bam. Hit him with another 1,000, another 1,000, another 1,000, another 1,000. So you'll notice, and anybody listen to me, like, no, this might have happened to you. Oh, I got a winner. I got a winner. And you're like, oh yeah, peace mode. I'm gonna peace out all the way up. And like, yeah, here's how you don't do that and make more money. This one, you got something like, yeah, winner, bam, it's going. Right? Like, buy more, buy more, buy more, buy more. And so by the time that it goes beast mode and everybody's like, you're loaded, man. We got so much stock. You're like, yeah, man. That's how you turn around where, oh, I lose a little, then I make a little, and then I lose it all. This is how you turn that around. Where it's like, this thing's going my way, dude. I'm gonna load the boat on this thing. You can keep your stops tight, but if it doesn't go down, man, I'm gonna buy everything in sight on this thing. Boom. That's the difference between trading. Trust me on this. Trust me on.
So how long does it take for people to get to that point? I see, like, Sarah will mention that she's not at the point where she does a lot of adding, that she's a sniper, so she's looking for the magnitude and she's out. Do you find that a lot of people progress over time and they eventually add?
No, everybody's different. Everybody's different. It's like Sarah, Sarah. It's like, I love her so much. I'm like, look, everybody's different. I'm like, dude, if you're happy just doing what you do, sniping, bam, that's great. Right? That's great. What I'm saying is that everybody's different and we'll get you all where you need to be. It's that I'm here as a strat soldier, strat commander in chief. I mean, like, okay, what is it that you need? And how do you trade? And as long as you're happy, done, trading strat, that's great. If you want to up your game, I'm here. Like, look, okay, here's how we really get bam, right? But everything, the strat will always go to who you are. Like, look, man, I don't need millions of dollars. I'm like, I just need this snipe. I need this, and that's great. What I'm telling you is that if you really want to take your game up, we got it. Like, look, here's how it works. Bam, right here. And if you've got more ammunition, here's what we do.
So
But
I have a question about daily breaks. So say you have a reversal on the daily. So you had a 1, a 2 down, and a 2 back up.
okay.
I notice a lot that when that 2 goes up, when that goes 2 up, a lot of times it doesn't go right away. It'll dance around there 10, 15, 20 cents. Sometimes it'll do it 3 or 4 times before it actually goes for real. Do you find that that's more often the case, or should it just go?
It depends. It depends on if it's in the S&P. Do we have all these things going our way? So what we'll do is we'll take a small position. If it stops us out, so be it. If it gets us in, so be it. What's our magnitude? And then the hardest thing for most people to understand is that, look, once we're right, then you add, right? A lot of traders will take their full position right up the chute. I'm like, you guys have no idea what is going to work. What we do is we take a position, and then once we get another signal, that's what we put on. Be like, I don't care if I got 10 shares, and then it goes up, and then we get another signal like 100 shares, boom, now. Or
yeah, you gave the example last week about going in with 100 shares to start with, and then maybe when you get your next signal, you go in with 1,000, and then another 1,000.
That's right. I don't care if it's 10 shares. I don't care if it's 1 share. It's like, as long as you can build on to understand your magnitude. Most people don't understand magnitude. It's like, how far is this going to go? I'm like, up there. I'm like, are you sure about that? I'm like, yes, because sidebars exist. And so a lot of traders will say, I'm going to take my full position right away. And like, that's how you know they have no idea how to gauge magnitude. The problem with that is that you can have your equal size of losers and winners, right? We want to make sure that our losers are very small, but we also want to make sure that our winners are big. Like when we're right, I want to be right, and bam, add. And one of the things I love about Jermaine, he's like small account and built it up. He's like, how did you do that? He's like, small and add, because we know why we're right. He's been a great friend, and he's been a great setter. He's like, look, once you're right, if you can add and then have stops in, well then we can't lose, and we only have big winners. That's it. That's it. Or we get stopped out. But if you sit there and take a loser, you're done. You're done.
So there's a question in here about 1-2-2 or 3-2-2 reversals. The reason that those work so well is because, say you're doing a 1-2-2 where you had an inside candle, then the 2 went down, and then the 2 reversed it. So the reason that works so well is because the shorts had a try at it and it failed, and now you have natural buyers and you have short covering, so it pushes it really high.
All right. So the thing about I get the question all the time is like, how do I draw the triangles? You don't have drama if you do a 2-2 or a 3-2, because the triangles are already built in, right? 3 is a triangle. The 2-2 reversal back through tells you that we're going to take out the highest of this, right? The 2-2 tells you we're going to take out the highs or lows of the originals here. You don't have to draw, man. I'm like, you need to understand that broadening formation is not a pattern; it's a phenomenon. And so, once you understand that delta happens, we take out one side of the range and the other side of the range. So, when we have time frame continuity going back through a previous range, we have every reason to believe it's going to take out the other side of the range. Death, unless we have a reversal against us. And if we don't, then we can press it. And for newer folks who've never heard about what we're talking about, welcome. Because what we're talking about here is that classic technical analysis is wrong. It's the worst thing that anybody could ever do. And it's the proof is that 90 to 95% of people who tried to do technical analysis lost. The strat is changing this. And I want to be very clear about that. If you look at classic technical analysis, 90% of people who tried to do it lost. Right? The strat changes that. That's why you're here, hopefully. And that's why I'm never gonna stop, man. And we'll let some scans in there. Thank you. Sure, let me
Yeah, pardon my typing. I'm trying to.
Go ahead. I'm gonna freshen my cocktail. I'll be back. This is apparently where the cool kids hang. I'm never.
You know it.
I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah, or if you want to see anything anybody's ever posted, search for this. That'll find all the Thinkorswim scans or code, custom indicators, whatever people have shared. If you search the server for tos.mx, it'll come up. In the upper right-hand corner, do you see the search? It's got the little magnifying glass. Just type ThinkScript share in there, or type tos.mx in there. So that's the quickest way to search for stuff on here. Instead of like going into resources and materials or into Strat QA or wherever, if you just search for keywords you know is part of the question or the answer, you'll be able to pull up all kinds of stuff on here. Because people have a tendency to could get into discussions in resource areas. So if you don't want to have to scroll through all the garbage, you got to become a ninja with searching. Yeah, one thing I found if you're searching though, if you're in a private message with somebody and you try to search, it's only going to look through that private message. So you have to be one of the main big rooms. Then it's sort of like a global search. You can't be in a really narrow room. So like general chat or market live, I think either one of those. If you're doing the search from there, it'll look everywhere.
You guys still hear me?
Oh yeah, we still hear you.
All right, man.
So there was one question while you were gone about doing the 1 cent stop idea with options. I guess people are having some trouble with how they manage their risk with options. I wonder if you have any ideas about that.
Okay. Look, here's the thing. I'm going to teach that until I know what you're doing. Tell me what you're doing, and we can loosen that up. But unless I know what you're doing, I'm not going to let you get killed. Right? And so oftentimes people say that, well, they will think that it's a 1 cent stop from where I bought it. I'm like, no, it's a 1 cent stop from where below the bid. So the thing is, I need to know that you know what you're doing. Right? and be like, okay, well, a lot of things people want to say, okay, it's a it's a cookie cutter strat. Like it's not, man. It's like, look, it's working on this. So what I would say is that always run it by me, because I'm always going to give you the 1 cent stuff, because I'm not going to let you get killed. But why are you taking the trade? I need to know that, right? You understand? I need to know why you're taking that trade, and then I can help you. But I have to know by far, if that makes sense. So I mean, because seriously, I mean, people are just sitting there and like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, look, man. I'm like, why? Hold on, I want to make sure that up to the chat, but you have to understand, like, if you don't know, I mean, when I talk about trading, and it's like, look, we talk about strategy, I'm like, people are like, is this a buy or sell or buy? Like, if you don't know, it's a nothing. You have to know specifically that this is a buy. We don't like. Do you have a buy idea? I don't have ideas. I mean, we have buys and we have sells. This is what it looks like, and this is why. If you don't know that, don't do anything. Come see me, right? Or see us. But if you don't know if something's a buy or sell, cut your ass down. Do nothing. Do nothing.
Well, one thing you guys can do is just journal everything you do, what you were thinking about, what your strategy was, the strat numbers you were thinking of trading, and why. And then later, when you go through your journal, you're going to be able to see exactly what you're doing. Like, I didn't realize that I had a tendency to go long at the top of broadening formations. Like, I would have FOMO, and I would look for a reversal into the direction of the original trend and think, oh, it's a reversal. I can get in here. But it was at the top of broadening formation, so there was exhaustion risk. So it's super risky to get in there. Doesn't mean it isn't going to go, but it's not a reversal when you do that.
Unless when that happens, a new month, new week, all this, I'm like, now we got time for continuity. Boom, now we got it. So just sitting there fading it, no. Watch, when does this fade occur? And it's like, all right, now it's a new month, now it's a new week. Now I've got a 2-2 reversal down, as opposed to just selling to the strength. And be like, right. Right?
So I guess you have to decide what kind of a trader you're going to be. Are you going to be a reversal trader, or are you going to be a continuation trader? You're going to be a momentum trader. So is it retracement or momentum? And if it's a reversal, you got to recognize when you're getting to the top or the bottom of a broadening formation and start looking for the reversal.
Fucking when that happens, pardon my French, when that happens, when does it happen? Because when is likely to work. Say that I'm not going to fade this thing because it's 2 days into the month and everything's going the upside. Now there's a difference when you say, okay, now we're coming into the end of the month, and now it goes inside and down on the month and year and all this. So when things occur matters. If you're gonna fade, why would this? You always have to think, why would this work? Why would this work? Because it's not a matter of, well, I think I'm gonna fade this. It's, why would this work? Here's
one thing that's helped me a lot is before I take a trade, why would this work? And along with that would be, where's the magnitude?
Yes, exactly, and that's where Sarah's excellent.
So it's like, if you can't see the magnitude anymore, you've probably already gone through the whole move, and entering here is just going to be stupid.
Yeah, right. I'm like 2 cents. I'm like, well, here, Sarah's so excellent at that. I love her, and she's so good at teaching magnitude. Like, okay, if this works, here's what's going to happen. Why? Because of that. And yeah, there's so many good people. Sarah's so good at the magnitude. That if you're new here, I would go see Sarah Sabatino at magnitude. She's so good that I trained her, and I'm really so proud of her. I love her so much. She's so good. Like, look, you need to understand. The strat says if this works, we're going here. That's the magnitude. And as far as trading, that's what you will know. It's like, because what you're gonna see in most bullshit is, oh well, this is my target. And I'm like, well, why? Because I think it's going there. Like, why? Why would it go there? Because I think it is. Sit your country ass down, man. Look, man. Here's the magnitude. Here's why this would work, and here's where it would go. Right, and that's the great thing about the strat.
Yeah, if you've been studying this for more than a couple months, I mean, you know enough already with this that if you ask yourself these questions, your inner voice is gonna come out with the answer, and you're gonna know if you're about to do something stupid.
That's right. You say, "What am I doing? Why am I making this trade? What am I doing?" And you'll see Sarah, Jermaine, myself. I'm like, look, say out loud what you're doing as your trade. Does it make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, well, I'm buying this because, dude, if it makes sense, it makes sense. But if it doesn't make sense, it'll sound stupid. You know, do that. I'm buying this because I think it looks good. Nope, wrong. Nope, wrong. I'm buying this because we've got this rev strat here, the daily, we've got this, we get this, magnitudes here, and we'll take it, and you'll see people like Sarah just sniper. She's like a sniper. She's like, you know what? She's like, look, I'm a sniper because I know when it kicks in, it's going from here to here. As soon as it hits magnitude, I'm taking my profits. And that's where people that will trade the strat using options will say. It's like, because we know that we have gamma spike and we have theta burn. It's like, look, but we know the try's going from here to there, and like, all right, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna take that profit. So I know you're not all schooled up on those options, but that's what a lot of people will do.
So Johnny has a question. How do we know if it's at exhaustion risk to not enter a trade? Sometimes it breaks out high of day or low of day and continues going the same direction. You don't know. You just got to be aware that it's at possible exhaustion risk and that it may go, but probably most likely will not. It just depends. You just got to be aware if you're still in a trade. You may want to take half off.
No, you want to be very aware of that, because we want to understand the mechanics of how price action works. So
I've heard Rob recommend possibly taking some off and leaving the rest just in case it wants to keep going.
yeah, no, you don't. We always like them to take us out, you know. So don't just dump the dump. But what I'm saying is that anytime you go to new highs or new lows, is that, and you're worried about profits, taking profits, is that at least have a stop, like even 1 minute. Say, look, make them take you out because the other guys are on the wrong side. So, so the good thing is that, right, because you have a profit, you're right. You're right, right? The other guys are wrong. So, trail those stop at that point. Say, okay, because we know that, okay, you're worried about this big game turning into a loss.
Yeah, so Sarah teaches that in her video. It's actually really helpful because what you're basically doing is defending your profit. And if it's going to pull back and it'll hit your stop and take you out. If it's going to keep going, it won't hit your stop.
I mean, you can pull it on. You can buy more. I mean, if you have a big gap up on your side, screw these guys, man. If you get another bicycle, you can buy more. I like this, because you always want to put yourself in the other side of the trade. So,
yeah, exactly. Walk it up. So like Sarah will do that. Hey, dude, you all right?
Yeah, man. So let's say.
Yeah, just keep walking the stop up. Sarah does it on 5-minute candles.
Let's say that you're in the wrong side of the trade and you gap up. All right, and people are, when it gaps up and you got a big winner, that most people are like, we take profits. I'm like, you don't have to do that. I'm like, the guys who got jammed, they got to do something. So anytime there is a dip and signal to the upside, you buy more. Why? Because these guys are jammed. I mean, if you always want to think about people in the wrong side, and they're like, how am I going to get out of this? And I'm like, we're not going to let you out. You know, it's like when it starts to back off, and that gives us a signal to the upside, we buy more.
So that's one of the reasons, Rob, you'll hear Rob say this in his videos a lot. He'll go, this has been a lot higher before. So if you get in and it's at exhaustion, it's not really at exhaustion. Maybe it's at exhaustion intraday, but it still has other days where it was higher. So there's still people in there that stops are going to be hit.
Yeah, Gills used to be somebody. Gills used to be somebody. I'm like, this is a pay. I'm like, well, it used to be somebody, boy. Like, now I'm coming back. And Scotty T posting the what you need to know. So all you guys, I mean, I really appreciate, you guys being here. And I think you appreciate me being here. I'm trying to do the best I can. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you showing up. It's great. Get a lot of talk. We people learn a lot. We're able to ask a lot of questions and spread the wealth.
Well, I mean, I do the best I can to help as many people as we can, and I know, what's going forward is that Strat doesn't need me, and that's okay. Y'all know how to help people with this Strat. Yeah, people's gonna be like, Rob, well, what's in it for you? And I'm like, it's not about me, man. It's about everybody understanding that the world's full of lies, and that the Strat is the truth. There's no question about it. I don't have to explain that to you guys, but look at all the lies and look at the truth. And I know that you guys know that's why we have this Discord. That's why we have everything. Like, you guys know that, right? I don't have to explain that to you. That's the truth. That's the truth. So on this note, I'm gonna go to bed, man. I'm gonna next week. I'm gonna take a week off. But
it's a good week for it.
Yeah, well, I love y'all so much, man. I'm tired. I love watching y'all tell everybody how's it going. And I know how you believe that I get you some time off. And I'm proud of you guys for spreading the thread because it's all about the truth. I know that you know that. So God bless you.
All right, man. We'll have a good vacation next week, and we'll see you the next time.
Yeah, it's not really a vacation. It's just well, but you guys keep doing what you do. Keep helping people with the thread. All right?
All right, man. We will do it.
All right. God bless you.
All right. Take care.